already signed up for Mentorship Day, please do so. It's 2 points on your next test just for going to a session. Check this out, guys. You can go into one of these sessions and meet a mentor who can give you your first job. I'm telling you an honest-to-goodness story. One of my friends who participates in Mentorship Day is a guy named Marcus Haynes. Marcus owns his own Department of Defense consulting company. Does work for Homeland Security. He's a St. Francis grad. His wife, we met here at St. Francis, is one of the top 5 people in the IRS. And they both are people who want to help out people who are in your shoes. So you get 2 points on the test, and you might make a mentor for life. Because as we know, it's not always what you know, it's who you know that gets your foot in the door. By show of hands, remember, there's no penalty here if you don't. How many of you are signed up for a session? For those of you who are not, why are you not signed up? Going home? That's okay, because you know what else? They're online sessions. You can still sign up. Who else? Why are you guys not signed up? Yes? I'm sorry? That's okay. Sign up for something outside your major. Meet somebody. Why else are you guys not signed up? Because we're giving you class time to do it and 2 bonus points to do it. I'll be very, very disappointed if you don't take advantage of this opportunity. It won't hold against you. It won't count against you. But it can help you on the test, and more importantly, it can help you in life. Guys, mid-semester, I still have one more makeup exam, and after that, we're going to decide what our tests are going to look like from here on out. But let us continue, guys. Today, we're going to be continuing Chapter 16. You picked your groups already, but we're going to spend some time in our groups together going over the stock game. There are a couple of you that are not yet a member of a group. We're going to take care of that too. Guys, our rate of return assignment is going to be your next assignment in this class. It should take you about 5 to 10 minutes to do. We're going to cover it in class, but it's due on the 19th. If you have not started this assignment yet, please do not start it yet because we have not covered the rate of return yet. We're going to show you how to calculate stock returns. And today, because we've got so much to get through, I'm not going to get to stock aggregators yet today, but we are going to be covering those next week. You are going to start thinking about how you're going to play the markets, though. If you are bored and you need something to do this weekend, our Enactus team is doing a trip out to this place called Weekland Farms. They have a corn maze. It's all kinds of Halloween activities. If you're interested in going, it's a $5 deposit, which you get back. So if you put down $5 to go, they'll give it back to you, get you the trip, get you a hayride, a trip to the corn maze, and a hot dog and French fries, too. It's a fun night out. It's going to be this Friday from 5 to 8. If you're interested, hit me up. I'll get you on the list. I'm going to be joining Ms. Bauman as a chaperone on this trip, so it should be some fun. If you're interested, hit me up. I love fall, and I love Halloween. By the way, since we're in the season of the year, how many of you are Halloween fans? How many of you like ghost stories? How many of you believe in ghosts? How many of you believe in the possibility of something? Okay, because we're going to also be making an announcement about ghost stories coming up, too. So that's also going to be something fun. Here are our teams, guys, the teams that we have right now. We've got the 4 Musketeers. We've got the top 4. We've got Stratton Oakmont, of course, the Friars of Wall Street, and Chasing Failure. Chasing Failure, that's a great name, by the way. We have 2 folks who are not in a group. So here's the deal. We got Calista and Mason. You still need to join groups. So here's the way we're going to handle this. If one of the existing groups would like to have another person in their group, they may claim these individuals. If not, I will be randomly assigning them to groups. If you want to claim one of these individuals, or you as the individuals would like to join a team, I'm giving you until tomorrow to make that decision. If I don't hear back from you by Friday, if I don't hear from a team by Friday, or the individuals have joined a team, I will be randomly assigning you to a team on Friday. So we all good, guys? Any questions about this so far? I encourage you, if Calista and Mason, I encourage you guys to maybe contact the team you want to join, so you know you're with the people you'd like to be with. Otherwise, I would randomly assign you because this is a group project. So we're going to talk about this game, guys. What I'm going to ask you to do, if you're in the room right now, I'm going to ask you to kind of buddy up with your team. So get together with your team because we're going to cover this game and I'm going to go through the rules. If you're not yet in a group, that's okay. We're still going to cover the rules. And I would like one member of each team to volunteer to be the person who's going to handle the documentation. So who is our documentarian for this team? All right. So somebody has to step up. By the way, history is bigger than gold. All right. Who is our documentarian? All right, Paige. There you go. Who's our documentarian here? All right. Who's our documentarian? I can do that. Once you listen, you have to email me. You can tell me the name of the group that you're joining. There you go. Email me and you're at the team. Here we go. All right. And now, one more quick pile of papers. I'm going to show you guys. All right, guys. What you see before you, and at least I'll get you copies of this stuff too. What you have before you are two things. One is a series of instructions. What I'm about to tell you guys, by the way, is how to get an A on 10% of your grade. So this is what we're going to be talking about. The first part, this thing is listed as attachment 1. What this is, it's right out of your syllabus. It is the rules of the game. We're going to go through this whole thing. The second attachment that I handed you guys, of the two, hold on to this one. This is a copy of an A grade paper from a previous class. I'm giving you this as reference. If you lose it, I will not give you another copy. This is your gold piece to hang on to, which is why I ask who your documentarians are, because this is your guide on how to get an A on this assignment. So let's go through this, guys. What I'm asking you to do is follow with me here. And I have given paper copies of this stuff. If you want to follow with me, you can also bring up the syllabus right in Blackboard, and the syllabus has this attachment. What I'm asking you to do, guys, you're going to basically be picking stocks. You're going to be picking securities. You're going to be picking no fewer than 3 and no more than 4. That means you're going to pick 3 to 4 different places you are going to invest. You can pick big companies like Amazon. You can pick small companies. You can pick tech companies. I'm asking that you pick 3 to 4 securities that are traded on an American exchange. For example, if the securities you want to pick are traded on the Nikkei, I don't want those. I want things that are traded either on something like the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. We'll talk more about that, but they need to be traded on the U.S. exchange. You are going to be buying these stocks. Now, you may say to yourself, it's already the 7th of October. We're going to do some time travel here. So you're going to be picking these stocks based on their closing price on the 1st of October. We're going to talk about what that means. At the end of the day, when trading is done, that's the closing price. Can a stock's price fluctuate during the course of a day? Absolutely. So you have $100,000 to play in 3 to 4 stocks. With me so far. What might be some ways in which you would decide what stocks you're picking? If you had this money and you had to invest it, what might be a way you would choose your investments? In the stock market. Go ahead. We're already talking about diversity. I love it. It means you're going to pick stocks that could be risky, stocks that could be sure things. Nick, you want to add to that? Well, what a company you like, yes?
I was going to say, like, make sure you have a stock that will look at a low price, and you can buy a bunch of shares of that one.
So you can get
they jump a little bit, and you can profit more, and then get like a Tesla or an Amazon.
exactly right. So can you get in on the ground floor on something that's about to explode? I'm going to list a couple of companies here. Some are company names you know. Some are companies that I'm just going to give you generic industries. Tell me if this is a good risk or not. Amazon. It's a good risk. They're doing well this year. Apple. Good risk. How about a company that has an as yet unproven vaccine for the coronavirus? It depends. It depends. That's a riskier investment. We know for sure Apple works. We know that Apple has got products and services that people want. This vaccine could be a complete bust, which is why biotech, for example, is a little bit of a riskier investment. But I digress. Let's get in. So what I'm going to be asking you to do is pick stocks based on their closing price on the 1st of October. I'm going to show you how to do that. What you're going to be doing throughout this portfolio, this paper guides you through it. What you're essentially going to be doing is telling me what was your strategy. If you had $100,000 to invest in the markets, what are some examples of strategies you could apply? Talk about tolerance for risk. What might be a strategy you could apply? Yes?
Go on a high risk, invest in high risk, and then be safe with other.
So we could go with a diverse portfolio. How many of you, if you had $100,000 that you just laid in your lap, would go for broke and go incredibly aggressive on everything? Wow, we have cautious people in there. How many people would split it 25% risky, 75% sure thing? How many people go 50-50? How many people would go 75% risky, 25% sure thing? All right, so we have some folks here, your tolerance for risk is moderate to low. That's going to be part of your investment strategy. The very first part of this document, you're telling me why you're making the decisions you make. The second part of the document, what you're going to be doing is giving me a corporate summary about each of the stocks. You're going to be telling me what each stock is that you picked and what the company is. For example, the folks who wrote this paper happen to invest in Adidas. You can go to Adidas's page and get their biography and find out how long they've been around, what they do. So I'm asking you to tell me what Adidas does, for example. So you're going to do that for each of your stocks. The next thing you're going to do is give me a news story. You're going to show me at least one thing in the news that you've read about this company that affected either the way they're performing or your perception of the company. What might be an example? If I invested in Amazon, and Amazon right now is making big announcements about wanting to get involved in renewable energy, I can have an article about that. Who here is a fan of Tesla, by the way? Why has Tesla been in the news so much lately? What's one reason? Batteries are part of it, or you could go back even to the kind of PR problem they had with the Cybertruck. Does anybody remember what happened there? When Elon Musk said the glass was bulletproof and ended up throwing a chair right through the glass. So that lowers the stock price. Does anybody remember what happened when he went on Joe Rogan? He was drinking whiskey and smoking weed on live TV, and the stock price tanked. But then it came back up because people like Elon Musk kind of like his unpredictability. Those are all examples of news articles involved in your process. What you're going to do next, I'm holding this up so you guys can see it for those of you who don't have a copy of the paper. What this chart is basically, it's on page, what page is it? 6. It's showing the portfolio that these folks picked. And it's showing what their daily stock prices are. All these charts you can download right off of any stock aggregator. In fact, I'll even show you that stuff today a little bit. We'll explore it a little bit more. Most of the charts you see in the middle of this document are things you can download off the internet. So long as you tell me where you got it, you can download and copy and paste it. Does anybody know the magic command on their laptop called Shift Print Screen? Anything that's on your screen turns into a graphic and you can paste it into a document. I'll show you how to do it. In fact, if somebody, open up PowerPoint on your laptop. I'll show you something that's going to change your life. Open up PowerPoint and check this out. Just a blank PowerPoint. Go back to your web browser or something. Okay, hold Shift, the Shift button, and click on the print screen button. So hold Shift, click on print screen. Now go back to PowerPoint and click Paste in your PowerPoint. Oh, I'm so sorry.
You said home shift?
Print screen, Shift, print screen. So you're going to hold the Shift and print screen down. What that enables you to do is turn whatever is on your desktop into a graphic. How handy is that, right? So now you've got a way to get these graphics downloaded. So the next thing I want to cover, and we're going to cover this repeatedly. If you don't get it all today, don't worry about it. For those of you who are holding the document, we get to page 12. Go to page 12 of your document. What this is a chart of how these folks did their investments, what their initial investment was, and what their ultimate rate of return is. We are going to show you how to calculate that. For example, if If I had $100,000 to invest in 3 stocks, can I buy partial shares of stock? I cannot. So it's highly unlikely you're going to be able to spend the whole $100,000. You're going to get it as close as you can. And that means when you're calculating your rate of return, and we're going to cover this again, don't stress about this. When you calculate your rate of return, you divide the money you made or lost by the actual amount you invested. Unless you manage to invest the whole $100,000, which nobody in the history of the game has ever done, you're going to divide it by what you actually invested. And you're going to demonstrate your rate of return. I'm going to teach you guys how to do this. Finally, the last page of the document. You guys give yourselves an evaluation. You're going to tell me how the team worked together. Do people have trouble getting their schedules together? Let's be honest, guys. Why does everybody hate group work? There's always that 1, 2, 3 people in the group who don't contribute. I suggest splitting up the work. It's very hard to get together. I guarantee you in each of your groups you got somebody who likes math. I guarantee you got a good writer in your groups. And you may, if you're lucky, have somebody who's played the markets before. Here's the ways that people screw up on this project. The biggest single way that people screw up is plagiarism. I've had folks who literally, the font size changes, the color changes, it goes from blank to italic, and all of a sudden the writing goes from sounding like somebody who was a college student to somebody who writes Shakespeare. And it's like it immediately shows up. So yeah, I had to bust people for plagiarism. Don't make me do that. The second way people screw up, anytime you are talking about a news article, or if you're talking about your company summary, cite that stuff in text. I'm not going to beat you up about format. If you like MLA or if you like APA, whatever your format is, so long as you cite your sources in text and give me a bibliography, we're good. Here's another thing too, guys. Try to avoid using big quotations all the time. If you cite it, it's okay. Explain it in your own words. Show me why you guys picked the stocks you picked and how the investment went. And the other thing, check your math. Seriously, I will check your math. I will take it out to 4 decimal points. If you round it off to 2 decimal points and you're a partial percentage off, I'm not going to ding you points for that, but I will let you know it. Check your math. We're going to go through this stuff. And in fact, what I'm going to also do, guys, just because we're here together, I might actually show you an aggregator today to show you how some of this stuff works. But I'm going to pause for a minute for a sip of my coffee so I can answer any questions you have so far. Yes, sir.
So, say there's a COVID vaccine that gets it gets passed and it's gonna become mass produced. It's a big failure, but as soon as it gets passed to be mass produced, their stock would skyrocket, right?
I would think so, yeah. And here's the thing too, guys. Let's say, for example, you invest in all 4 of the stocks or all 3 of the stocks you pick are dogs. You lose all your money. Can you still get an A on the project? Yeah, I don't care how much money you make or lose. What I care about is you can tell me why you picked the stocks you did, you can document how your stocks did, and you can tell me what you learned from the process. If you can do that, literally you can lose everything on this project and still get an A. The other thing is you can make money left and right and still fail if you plagiarize. So that's the issue. Other questions, guys? Trust me, we're going to cover it again. Whoever in your group has that copy, though, hold on to that for dear life. If I were a smart person too, I might even make photocopies of it or scan it. So I have a copy of it. I'm just saying. Other questions, guys? Well, I'm going to show you something else. Give me a minute to get this set up. And I'm going to show you how I monitor some of my portfolios. I'm not telling you have to use this, but it's what I use. I happen to use Yahoo Finance. And right now I have my security settings such that if somebody logs in, for example, if somebody tries to log into my account, I have it verified through my phone. That's why it takes me an extra second here. I do that as a security measure. because someday I'm actually going to tie my Yahoo directly to my trading software. Just haven't done it yet. Okay. You can use whatever aggregator you want. You can use Google. You can use your phone. I happen to use Yahoo. And you ask why to use Yahoo? Because it does all the work for me. It's been around forever, and they actually have pretty good resources. So let's say, for example, I want to research a company. Will somebody tell me a company that they are interested in? Yep. SpaceX. So we can go on to Yahoo, and if you have your laptop, you're welcome to follow along with me. If you want to sign up for a Yahoo account, Google, whichever you want to use. So let's see, SpaceX. Oh, they're actually, let's see here. Maybe I have the wrong symbol. That's SpaceX, that's private. Unless that is a private subsidiary. I actually don't know if SpaceX is public or private. Yet they're private. Let's pick another company. Tesla. Yep, very easy. Okay, so we can go on to Tesla, and we can see right now, for example, where the stock is going. If you look here, for example, these are yesterday's numbers. Right in the middle of the day, we were peaking out around $422. Early in the day, we started off even around $427. If we look at this information over here, we can see that the previous closing price at the end of the day yesterday was $425.68. It opened at $423.79, so we made a little bit of money yesterday. If we look at the day's range, for example, we had a low, bottom out at $406. We topped out at $428. If we look at the range for the last year, if we want to know how the stock has been doing, why might we want to look at the last year? We want to see if the stock is volatile or not. If we look over at these charts, for example, right now this is a one-day chart. We can make it a one-year chart if we want to, and we can see the stock has been going up. Look at this, guys. We started off from last year in October to now. We're over double our value. In fact, let's see what that was. Back in October 7th, 2019, that's a pretty big jump from $49.58 to $413.98. I'd say that stock is doing okay. If we want to, for example, look at some of the other information. For example, if we get to the average volume, that means how much trading of stock is going on in a particular day. So on average, there's a lot of trading going on. People are moving the stock around a good bit. In terms of the one-year target estimate was $308, and it's already topped out on that. So if we want to, for example, go to historical data or any of these things, if we go to historical data, we can set a date range. Check this out, guys. If we want to see, for example, what the year-to-date was, we can select that range right in here. When you are getting, for example, the charts you have to produce for your document, they all come from this. If we want to, for example, go to our profile. Well, here's information about Tesla. You can find out who's on the board. You can find out where they're located, who their corporate governance is, all these sorts of things. And sometimes, if you're really lucky, you can even find some articles right in here, for example. Go to, let's see, where do I want to go? Let's go back to your summary. Right now, we've got articles that are featuring Tesla right under the summary page. So in terms of finding your sources for your document, here they are. You see what I'm saying here, guys? And what you can do essentially, if you get an account with Yahoo, you can create your own watch list. Like, for example, I've got several watch lists that I use for this class and just for my own interests. For example, I can set up my own, there's my portfolio. There's my watch list that I watch just for my own personal interest. You can put all your stocks on here and monitor them every day. There's an app right for your smartphone if you want to use it on there as well. It's a free account. If you end up liking it, you can tie it to your bank account. You can actually do trading right from here. I'm not telling you have to use Yahoo. I'm telling you that almost everything that's in this paper that you need to create can be accessed right here. So use the aggregator of your choice. How many of you are using Robinhood, by the way? Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? So if you want to use Robinhood, that's fine too. The only reason I suggest something like this, yes, sir. You are welcome to use whatever aggregator you want to use. I do suggest that you do use one, though, that's desktop-based, so you can easily get these graphics for your document. Whatever you want to use is absolutely fine with me. Are there other questions, guys? Questions or comments? On the 30,000-foot view, do you guys understand what you're being tasked to do? All right, let's do a couple of quizzes here just to make sure you got me. How many stocks are you going to pick? 3 to 4. Okay. What exchanges do they have to be on? What country? They have to be U.S. exchange stocks, for sure. Okay. In terms of the range that you're going to be playing the markets, you're going to be playing from the 1st to the 30th of the month, which means at this point, you got a little bit of an edge because you can go back to the 1st and see historical data already for performance on the month. We'd gotten here a little earlier. You've been guessing. You can do a little bit of performance on this as well. Guys, how many copies of an A-grade paper for this class do you get from me? You got it. All right. What questions do you have, guys? Going once. Going twice. Go back to your seats. Give me a second. We'll get back into our lecture. All right, my friends. Well, here's what I want to do. Before we get back into the material for today, does anybody have any questions or comments about anything? Questions or comments about anything I can answer so far? All right. Well, we're going to have a little conversation before we get back in anyway, and that is, guys, right now, this day, actually this Wednesday, in the middle of the week here, we're smack dab in the middle of the semester. Like right now, this Wednesday, we're at the halfway point in the semester. And so I would like you to answer the following question. I'd like everybody to answer this question. I'm going to take a walk around the room. I'd like everybody to answer this. Tell me something either that you're excited about, something that you're concerned about, or something you have a question about for the rest of the semester. It could be this class. It could be another class. It could be anything. So something you're excited about, something you're concerned about, or something you have a question about. So let's start over here. Derek, what's something you're excited about, have a question about, or concerned about?
Concerned about maintaining a high GPA for the rest of the semester.
Any particular stuff that's giving you stress? Is it tests or papers? Exams. All right. Well, you doing well so far?
Yeah, so far so good.
Just keep doing what you're doing. Tell me something you're excited about, concerned about, or question about.
I'm excited kind of to go home, but I also am not too eager to go home.
Remind me where home is.
Well, no.
Okay, yeah, so it's because it's complicated in New York right now. So, yeah, so good luck. Well, how would you take a question or a statement? What are you excited about, or what are you concerned about, or what do you have a question about? I'm excited about Thanksgiving too. It's going to be one long-ass break this year. It's one of the longest. It's going to be the longest Thanksgiving break ever. What's something you're excited about, have a question about, or are concerned about?
I'm excited to go home this weekend. I'm my family before basketball starts.
I'll bet. I'm excited for basketball too, by the way.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that.
What's something you're excited about, concerned about, or have a question?
I'm excited about finishing this semester strong.
You're well on your way, my friend. Same question. I'm excited for break too. I'm excited for a month and a half. All I'm going to do is write on my doctoral program. It doesn't sound like fun, but it's a good thing. Trust me. What do you think?
I'm just excited to go home.
I want to go and just bask in the glow of that collection, man. I want to stand in front of that Kobe Bryant jersey for like an hour and just look at it, man. What's something you're excited or concerned about, or have a question about?
I'm probably concerned about when we come back, we get like tests and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm concerned too. I hope everybody's healthy. Same question, Paige. I can't remember. Where's home? Awesome. Well, I hope you safe travels when that happens. Same question. I'm excited for being too. I'm excited to finally hear you guys. Same question.
I'm excited to go home, but also excited because I don't know how to do the process of
Oh, wow. So where's home? You have family in Canada? Okay, wow. Well, I hope you get over too. So, same question.
I'm excited for Halloween.
Do you dress up for Halloween?
No, I just like all the trees.
I guarantee you the day closest to Halloween I'll be wearing a costume. Something you're excited about, concerned about, or have a question? Yeah, I hope you guys have a season. I hope so. Same question. Where's home? Fantastic. Something you're excited about, concerned about, or have a question? Me too, man. Same question. We're going to make that happen because that ghost story thing is going to be CBS. Something you're excited about, concerned about, or have a question? Yeah. I can't wait to eat pumpkin pie. Same question.
Concerned about my law midterm in half an hour.
Oh, my goodness. Who do you have in that class? Good luck. Good luck. Same question.
Concerned about my exam.
What's your exam? Good luck. Who do you have? All right. You study, you're going to be fine. Yes. Where's home, by the way? Yeah, I'd be excited to go home, too. Police, what's something you're excited about, concerned about, or have a question about? I'm looking forward to spending some more time with my family, too. Well, there we go, guys. We checked in here. We're going to go for a couple more slides here. And, guys, you remember, we talked about the difference between equity and debt. So if we're talking equity, what are we talking about? Word starts with an S. Stocks, absolutely. We're talking about debt. We're talking about the B word, which is bonds. Absolutely. They have advantages and disadvantages. Over which scenario does the company maintain more control? Well, actually, of equity, if we are getting stocks, people can vote. They can vote for boards. They can take some control over our company. Where if we get debt, we have to pay it back with interest, but we still make the decisions on our company. So they're both different kinds of advantages and disadvantages. Well, who helps us get into these markets in the first place? We have things called, or people called investment bankers. If you are a company, because remember, what we're talking about with all of this stuff is how we bring money into companies and how we as investors can make money on these kinds of investments. Investment bankers are people who basically help companies either go public or get money into their ecosystems. Stockbrokers, on the other hand, are people who help us buy into companies. That's an old concept. If you ever get the chance, by the way, the School of Business, we take a trip to Wall Street every other year. When you guys have seen, how many of you have seen a movie, any kind of movie about Wall Street? Well, somebody describe to me, what's the floor like? So you see people running around with phones in both ears, ticker tape everywhere. I'm here to tell you that no longer exists. When you go to see the floor these days, what you see on CNBC, for example, is kind of made up. It's a very calm place these days because most trades are done on computers these days. The stock market itself, the actual physical space, is more symbolic than it is actually functional at this point. So when we start talking about stockbrokers, most of us are not going to call a person and talk to a person. We're going to get into online trading, and a lot of you are already doing it. How many of you, by show of hands, are playing the markets? Yeah, so you guys are already getting in. I predict within your lifetime, we're not going to see people on the floor of the exchange at all. Those traders are going to die off. They're going to go off into the sunset. They're going to retire. And what do we need a building for when this stuff is all based on computers? So it's kind of sad because it's an icon of American industry, but it's part of the way that progress works, guys. So we have a couple of ways that we can buy stock. We have primary markets. There's one time, guys, that you can buy stock directly from the company who's going public, and that's called an initial public offering, IPO. IPA is a delicious beer. IPO is an initial public offering. So that's the one time you can buy direct from the company. Generally speaking, in the IPO, if you get in early, if you have a stock that might grow or get hot, sometimes you can get a very good price. Sometimes the IPO is all bang and no substance. For example, who here has ever followed Snapchat's stock price? They were a big IPO, weren't they? There's a lot of excitement about it, and it never really came to pass. So they had a big initial public offering, but the stock never really caught steam like people thought that it would. The secondary market means all the initial public offering has been sold off. You got to buy that stock from somebody else, which means you go into a broker. So most of us, when we're buying stocks these days, unless you get in on an IPO, You are buying stocks from somebody who is reselling them. And generally speaking, they add fees on top of that. And then we get into stock splits. Does anybody know, for example, first of all, do you know what a stock split is? And do you know why companies do it? Yes.
I don't know when like a stock is like doing so well that they have to like split it up so people can buy it.
You are so, you nailed about 98% of everything I was about to talk about. Very good. Stock splits happen, generally speaking, because the stock price gets so high that people can't really get excited about buying it. A lot of people won't buy it because it's too expensive or they can't afford to buy it. So companies split stocks. Here's something to write down, though. Can companies be forced to split? Can they be forced to split stocks? They cannot. It's a company's decision to do it. Here's the other trick. Let's say, for example, this side of the room, you guys own 50 shares of Amazon. This side of the room, you own 20 shares of Amazon. So if Amazon's shares split, this side of the room, how many shares do you have now? No, they split, you have 100. Because it doubles. And this side of the room, if you had 20, if we double that, what do you guys have now? You have 40. Does the percentage of ownership actually change? It does not. It just makes it easier to trade. Yes?
Two questions.
Please.
So one's about Snapchat, and they're like one of the, I would say, arguably the most important app or social media, like
For your generation, for sure.
generation. Like, we don't even really use iMessage and text or Snapchat. So why? Like I was on Hunt yesterday. I'm pretty sure Snapchat is like $16 a share.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. Why? What is behind stock prices in the first place? I can't answer your question completely because there's some things that just happen the way they do. But let's think about this for a second. What's the average age of a Snapchat user? Would you guess? Probably, I would say anybody from middle high school all the way into college. Snapchat and to some extent Instagram are going to be your big social networks. Who's investing in the markets more, people that age or people my age? Exactly right. So if you look at why the money goes where it goes, guys, all the money in this country, and this is such an important thing to know. Most of the money in this country is tied up with people older than me, and I'm pretty old. But when you get into people older than me, they have different ways of investing. So if you can learn to communicate with those folks, you have access to capital in ways that people who cannot communicate with older folks do not. So that would be my counterpoint. People my age, for whatever reason, aren't as excited about Snapchat. So, did I answer your question?
Yeah.
That's not a reason not to invest, because here's the thing. Even if it's got a low share price, for example, if you buy lots of shares and you get small gains on each one, you still can make a lot of money. So basically, guys, to kind of draw some distinction between this stuff, if you buy from an initial public offering, if KentTonkin.com goes public, you guys all want shares of KentTonkin.com. It's going to go gangbusters, man. You buy from my initial public offering, you're buying from me. Later on, if you guys resell those shares, that's the secondary market, and the dealer, you as the dealer, make the money. You make a commission, and the person who owns the stock makes money too. That's the difference, guys. So, actually, I think this is a good place for us to call it here. If somebody can ask me one more solid question, we're going to end 10 minutes early today. Who has a solid question for me? Yes?
Apple just recently had like a four-way stock split.
Yeah.
Why did they split four ways as opposed to a two-way stock split? I don't think that they were absurdly expensive.
Here's Tompkins' theory on that, and I could be completely wrong because finance is not my specialty. I think, when was the last time you got excited about an iPhone? And I think that they see the future, that the enthusiasm for their product is going to be slowing down. They want to just get some volume going. That would be my theory. I could be wrong.
The iPhone 12 got come out.
So, anyway, guys, have a wonderful day.
I still miss my home button. Ready for a hammer?